Hello again, everyone. This is Jan Monahan for Wrapping with Jan. I usually do a Hero Arts kit, and this month I took a look at all the videos, and there wasn't anything I could add to the kit, so I decided to do this. I've had this for a little while, and I've been dying to use it. This is the Peaceful Poppies from Stampin' Up. And the papers that we have are loaded with, tomato reds and greens and beautiful eggplant colors. And it all pops off each of the pages, and I can't tell which is my favorite. I guess it's better to say, if I don't have a favorite, there are not any papers here that I don't like. Unlike Hero Arts, Stampin' Up, you order it out of a catalog and it arrives in the mail. And instead of having all the stamps put together, they basically have you do it. It comes with the red rubber sheet, and you just pop these out, and they've got the stickers with them. This particular kit came with a lot of very nice sentiments. Anything from thank you to our sympathies, and just thank you for being you. This kit also came with what they're calling Whisper White Crinkled Ribbon, and this isn't a beige, and it's not really a bright white, but it's crinkled ribbon, and it would look great with some of the distress projects that we do on a monthly basis. Also, there are sequins. As you can see, I'm going to have trouble opening it up, and then when I do open it up, it goes everywhere. So, there's black, and there's red, and there's pink. And they match, they coordinate very well with the paper, and I'll be using them on a project in this video. These are the dies. They come in a folder, I guess is the best way to describe it, and they're all cut out for you, and they have a very nice envelope to keep things intact. There's one with the flowers, and then one with various designs and additions that you can put on your cards. Well, the last thing, Stampin' Up is calling these elements. I guess I would call them puffy stickers, although they do have this beautiful vellum that they have embossed, and it works very well with Copics. I didn't do one for this video, but they end up being beautiful. All right, let's get going. And it's time for project number 1. As you can see, I've got a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card, and I put a pink cardstock on the front of it. I also have a piece of watercolor paper that measures, I believe it's 4 1/2 by 3 1/2. I'm putting a piece of purple tape in the middle because I'm going to be stamping on either side of the tape. And I'm also going to treat this with a anti-static powder tool. Now, an important safety tip here, people. Don't put the tape on first, because if you put the anti-static powder tool, the tape's not going to stick. So, put the tape on first, and then the powder. All right, I'm using Versamark, and I'm going to make my first impression here. And you won't be able to see it, but you got to trust me, it's there. I'm not using my Misty for any of these projects, and I do get a little carried away inking up my stamp and pressing it down. So if it looks like I'm manhandling it, I probably am. All right, we have one side going up and one side going down. I generally don't like to use black embossing powder, but I wanted a striking image for what was left to do on the project. I did not take off the strip of tape. I wanted everything to stay clean under there. Black embossing powder it's not only messy, it's very difficult to hit with a heat tool because it's slow to melt, and a lot of times you think that it's all melted, but it's not. I wanted to find a watercolor that would match the kind of a whisper pink, and I started out with seedless preserves and then went to worn lipstick and spun sugar. And when I started in this business, I just kind of winged it. I didn't test the paint for anything, and well, I ruined lots of projects like that. I decided on spun sugar, and I'm just going to make a watercolor out of this Distress Oxide. And this was the perfect pink for these poppies. I didn't make a big production out of this. I just squished some of the ink there on my work surface. Then I squirted it with some water, just gave it a couple of spritz, and grabbed a number 7 round watercolor brush and started painting. This isn't rocket science. My only advice would be just have fun with this. I'm going to bring my camera down here so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm also going to speed this up. If you're a little leery of watercolor, this is probably the type of image that you want to start working with. I'm sure there are other watercolor teachers that would tell you something different, but if it goes out of the lines, it goes out of the lines. All right, now it's dried, and we're going to put a sentiment on this. I thought that these colors were too happy for a sincerely sorry card or a bereavement card, so I just put kind of a friendship thing in the middle. It's you shouldn't have, but I'm glad you did. I apologize for the interruption with the lawnmower out there. I don't know, he seems to start mowing when I'm recording. All right, let's finish this up and put some double-sided tape on the back, and we'll affix it to the front of our card. And I made an envelope, and you'll see that towards the end of the video, but that envelope turned out to be so pretty. All right, we are on to project number 2. I'm going to be making a sympathy card this time, and there is a type of die that I'm sure has a name. If you look at it just as a die, it looks like, I don't know, a big messed up ball of yarn, but I am calling it the stained glass window die, and it's not as intricate as it is detailed. I hope that makes sense, but I only have to run this through once, and you really need a wastebasket when you're doing this, because those little pieces will fall over. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to make 3 die cuts, and the last one was kind of tricky. I wanted to make sure that they were evenly spaced and nothing went off the page. Yeah, there's my wastebasket. And I kind of I kind of monkeyed around with this until I found something that I liked. And it did end up going off the end of the card front, but it didn't bother me, so I was hoping that it wouldn't bother the recipient. I know right now this card front doesn't look much like a stained glass window, but it is. With the finished product, you will be quite surprised. I waited until all the die cuts were done to do my, to be over the trash can. Okay, here we go. I went ahead and I put the paper that I wanted to use behind the stained glass window poppies. And I'm adding a sentiment to that of the same paper. I probably cut the background circle a little larger than it needed to be. But the finished product was, it will be very nice. And here's my With Deepest Sympathy. And just as a side note, I don't like sending sympathy cards, and I certainly don't like getting them. But they're a necessary part of life. And if the recipient gets this and it's handmade, I think it just lends itself to, if you need me, I'm here to help. I routinely make sympathy cards because I want to make these cards when I'm in a good mood. I don't want to have to make a card when I'm crying and you know, my tears show up on the card. That's not what I want. So I have several in a drawer, and I pull one out and send it. And I always hope that they like it and they know that I care. All right, we're going to finish this guy up here. I'm just using a tape runner. This paper is, or this cardstock isn't particularly heavy, so I'm not going to use double-sided tape. I have found through trial and error that it is so much easier to lay the card out flat and then place it on the card front than try and do it when the card is folded. And now we are finished, and I'm pleased with the way that this came out, and I will be proud to send it to someone who is grieving. You know me, I like to make my envelopes just as beautiful as the card is. And we're going to finish this off, and we will be on to project number 3. Project number 3 is, as my daughters call it, it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. I'm not sure where that came from, but they're using it, and it must be okay. I apologize for the sun coming through there. I had my blinds shut, and the sun was peeking through. All right, I am using, it's fog gray cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. And that gray, that very light gray, really goes with anything. I'm using the reverse side of the cardstock that I used on our sympathy card. I had a few pieces left over, and I don't like to waste things. Yep, there it is. This card is going to be a thank you card. And we'll be using the elements. That's what they call it. It's what Stampin' Up calls them. The elements, I call them stickers. I'm doing the stamping first. And as long as we're stamping the card, we might as well stamp the envelope. Believe it or not, this is the only rubber stamping we're going to be doing for this particular project. And so we'll just get that out of the way, and we can go on to other things. I'm only giving my viewers 3 different designs that can be done with this kit. There are so many ideas that have been tossed across Pinterest and on other YouTube videos. I do not sell Stampin' Up. I've only been to one of their parties. I do receive their catalogs every now and then, but you need to talk to your favorite Stampin' Up distributor, and I'm sure he or she can help you out. I have sped up the video because most of what I'm doing here is pretty straightforward. There's no amazing techniques to show you or any really great have-to-have products. We're going to put that down first and make sure to cut it off at the back. And I missed a spot. Okay. Now these are the elements that I've talked about before. And for those people who are just starting out in card making, a kit like this is ideal. It just, as my husband says, this is my illness. Well, that will be card making will become a new illness for somebody who starts to do this. I took a look at that ribbon, and it was just too white. The card was going to be boring. So I had some leftover jute, and this is how I put it on. I'm sure everybody has their way of putting on ribbon and string and baker's twine and whatever, but this is how I do it. Our next task will be to put this on the front of our card, and always flatten the card out. Makes it easier. We'll get the bow tied and finish this off. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. I know your time is precious. I know everyone around the world is, well, this is a challenging time. And it's not just one country, it's the whole planet. And so Mother Nature, I guess, just decided to make everybody mad. But anyway, keep washing those hands and wear a mask. Of all the stuff that's going on, I think it's the social distancing that I find most irritating. I mean, how are kids supposed to date, for heaven's sakes? 6 feet apart? Yeah. Anyway, all right, I'm going to try and gather all these up. You'll be able to see them at the end of the video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and blog. Please click on the thumbs up so, excuse me, YouTube doesn't make me walk the plank. I don't think they do that. They're not mean. Anyway, once again, thank you for watching. And I do need subscribers, so please consider that. And until next time, this is Jan Monahan for Wrapping with Jan.